The Kurdistan Regional Government is the official ruling body of the predominantly Kurdish region of northern Iraq referred to as Iraqi Kurdistan, South Kurdistan, or sometimes simply Kurdistan. The KRG consists of a unicameral parliament with 111 seats known as the Iraqi Kurdistan Parliament. The cabinet is selected by the majority party or list who also select the Prime Minister of the Kurdistan region. The President of Kurdistan is directly elected by the electorate of the region and is the head of the cabinet and chief of state who delegates executive powers to the cabinet. The Prime Minister is traditionally the head of the legislative body but also shares executive powers with the President. The President of Kurdistan is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Peshmerga Armed Forces. Parliament creates and passes laws by a majority vote, and the President has the power to veto any bill. Election process. Since 1992, the governing bodies have been primarily based in Erbil, officially declared the capital of the region. The KRG Parliament, or the Iraqi Kurdistan Parliament, is elected by popular vote. Voters are given one vote and may choose a single party from the list. The cabinet is selected by the majority party or parties. The majority party or coalition appoints and negotiates terms for the Prime Minister of the Kurdistan region. The President of the Kurdistan region is directly elected by its citizens. Currently, the cabinet is composed of the largest two governing parties, the KDP and the PUK and their allies. Current cabinet, other members of government. General Director of Ministry of Interior, Kamran Mahmoud Abdulrahman, Head of the Department of Foreign Relations, Fela Mustafa Bakr. Recent elections. 1992 elections. On May 19, 1992, 6 months after Kurds had gained their freedom, the first elections were held. Due to the 7% threshold, the only parties which had a chance of winning seats in parliament were the KDP and the PUK. The election resulted in a narrow victory for the KDP, which with 45% of the vote gained 51 seats while the PUK with 44% of the vote gained 49 seats. However, due to allegations of election fraud, they divided the seats 50-50 and created a unity government. The government however collapsed and resulted in a civil war breaking out in 1994. The last parliamentary meeting was held in 1996. It resulted in the creation of two Kurdish states, a PUK-controlled state based in Silimani and a KDP-controlled state based in Hula, both proclaiming themselves as legitimate rulers of Kurdistan. 2005 elections. The primary goal of the 2005 elections was to end party rule in the Iraqi Kurdistan and unify the two major parties, the Kurdistan Democratic Party and the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, who fought a civil war in the mid-1990s over territorial disputes and control of the Kurdistan region. Previously, the region was divided up by administrative provinces that were under control of either the KDP or the PUK. In 2004, the two parties created one unified list or coalition called the Democratic Patriotic Alliance of Kurdistan, which included several smaller parties as well. Not surprisingly, the coalition received the majority of votes, allowing the KDP and PUK to effectively divide key positions in government. The coalition achieved 104 of the 111 seats in parliament. In June 2012, the IKP held its first official meeting with Ms. Saud Batzani as the elected president. After 6 long months, the IKP finally agreed on administration positions. In 2006, the government was selected with Nechavan Idris Batzani as Prime Minister. The parties also negotiated terms for the Prime Minister. Nechavan Batzani, who is a member of the KDP, was expected to serve 2 years and would be replaced with a PUK candidate in 2008. Governorate elections were held in Iraq, in 2005, including in the 3 Kurdish provinces. The elections resulted in a KDP victory in Hula and Duhok with PUK a victory in Silimani. In total, the PUK won the most votes in these 3 provinces together with a total of 765,544 votes. However, they won only 48 seats while the KDP with 741,483 votes won 62 seats. Other parties won only 4 seats in Kurdish provinces. Kurdish parties also won majorities in Ninawa and Kirkuk. 2009 elections. The latest parliamentary elections were held on July 25, 2009. Kurdistan List, a joint list of KDP and PUK, won the largest share of seats and was tasked to form the next government. Major opposition parties include Change List and Reform List with 25 and 13 seats respectively. The new Prime Minister, Barham Saleh of PUK, assumed office on October 28, 2009. Minority Turkmen have 5 seats and Christians are represented with 4 seats. This KRG government comprised 19 ministries. In 2005, Mayes Saud Barzani was elected as president of Iraqi Kurdistan by the parliament. In 2009, the KRG decided that the president would no longer be selected by parliament, and instead, direct elections would take place. In the 2009 elections, President Barzani ran for re-election and faced a host of opposing candidates including Halo Ibrahim Ahmed, Kamal Muradali, Ahmed Mohamed Razel and Hossein Ghamayani. The election was a landslide victory for Barzani, getting approximately 70% of the votes. Kamal Muradali came second with 25%. 2013 elections. The Kurdish elections were held on September 21, 2013. Role in Iraq. The KRG has assumed governmental responsibility in the federal region of Iraq. As stipulated by the Iraqi constitution, Iraq will be divided into federal regions that will handle their own domestic affairs while the Baghdad central government will deal with international affairs. The single most controversial issue regarding federalism is oil. The KRG under Nechavan Barzani has signed several oil contracts with foreign states, including companies in the United States and China. According to Bloomberg LP, if it were a country, KRG would rank 10th amongst countries with largest reserves. While the KRG asserts that such contracts are legal under Iraqi law and the constitution, many disputes remain. The main Kurdish parties in Peshmerga cooperated with a US-led coalition during the 2003 invasion of Iraq that led to Saddam Hussein's overthrow. Kurdish politicians were represented in the Iraqi Governing Council. On January 30, 2005, 3 elections were held in the region: 1, for Transitional National Assembly of Iraq, 2, for Iraqi Kurdistan National Assembly and 3, for provincial councils. The law of administration for the state of Iraq for the transitional period recognized the autonomy of the Kurdistan Regional Government during the interim between full sovereignty and the adoption of a permanent constitution. The Kurdistan Regional Government currently has constitutionally recognized authority over the provinces of Erbil, Duhok, and Soleimani, as well as de facto authority over parts of Diyala and Ninawa provinces as well as Kirkuk province. One particularly difficult issue yet to be resolved is the future boundaries of the region. Many Kurds wish it to be expanded to include the largely Kurdish cities of Mosul and Kirkuk, but this is complicated by the Assyrian, Turkmen and Arab populations of both cities and the opposition of Turkey, which is concerned about the region's potential to break away from Iraq. The final boundaries of the autonomous region are set to be decided through a number of referendums which were scheduled to be held before the end of 2007 as stipulated in the Iraqi constitution. However, the preparations needed for such a referendum to take place have not been made by the Iraqi central government, and the promised referendums have been postponed for up to 6 months. In the wake of the ratification of the Iraqi constitution in October 2005, Iraqi Kurdistan reconstituted itself as a federal region under the new constitutional framework. Kirkuk's status with respect to the federal region should, under that framework, be decided by a simple majority vote in the provinces. The Kurdistan Regional Government has inaugurated a movement to distinguish itself from the rest of Iraq, entitled Kurdistan, the Other Iraq, in a bid to attract investors by showing its security and economic progress amidst the Iraqi war. The Iraqi Kurdistan region has in 2005 established a sister state relationship with the U.S. state of Oregon. On November 26, 2012, combat between Baghdad and Kurdish Erbil military units broke out into open clashes and required an urgent security agreement between federal and Kurdish military officials to avert further fighting. In 2013, KRG ordered 12 MD-530F helicopters for police and firefighting duties. 2014, for the last year, KRG has built up their own defenses by creating a security belt stretching more than 1,000 kilometers from the Iranian border all the way to Syria, skirting around Mosul, a city of 2 million people. They appear to have no intention of fighting for and preparing for fighting ISIS. On June 13, 2014, the city of Kirkuk and the surrounding area was seized, without firing a shot, by the Peshmerga and added to Iraqi Kurdistan. On July 1, 2014, Masoud Barzani announced that Iraq's Kurds will hold an independence referendum within months. However, Turkey has said it would oppose the independence for Kurdistan. See also, Hikûmetî Kurdistan, Kurdish Supreme Committee, List of diplomatic missions in Iraqi Kurdistan, List of diplomatic missions of Iraqi Kurdistan, References. External links, Kurdistan Regional Government.